Greetings everyone, this is J Randall 0308 and this is a short video about how to help with research in Lord of the Rings, Heroes of Middle-earth. There is a checklist that accompanies this video that I will link below it. So what you'll need is a program that can record your game screen. Obviously if you're on a mobile device you have that built in. In this example, I'm using an emulator, BlueStacks, and I am using Open Broadcaster software to record the screen. You want to plan to use a consistent team when you do each test, so the same set of characters for each test, and only record one node per test. When transcribing, which either you're going to be doing or I'm going to be doing, it's very confusing if there's multiple different teams being used or multiple nodes being attacked. And this will also help you keep your recordings short. 3 to 5 minutes is great. I would do an absolute maximum of 10 minutes. Anything longer than that, and the files become really large, cumbersome to upload, and also it takes a very long time to transcribe a recording that long. You want to pick a good node to test on. So some good nodes are Guild 3-3, which only has a few enemy types and they are rather slow, so you'll be able to act before they do. Guild 5-5, which I'm not showing in this recording because this is my alt account and it doesn't have Guild Chapter 5 opened yet, but Guild 5-5 is another good node to test on. Some of the light hard nodes are kind of okay to test on. So light hard 3-3 is a decent one. You've got some Haradrim enemies that are mostly the same types. You're probably farming this node anyway to get the shadow crystals. Light hard 3-6 that on this alt account I don't have unlocked, but obviously I do on my main. Also Haradrim enemies, and also not too many types. I don't have any examples offhand of shadow nodes to test on, but I'm sure there are some. In any case, the main thing you want to do first when you start the recording is show the details of the team that you're going to be using. This is just an example. I've got 4 characters favorited. This is not a very sensible example, but just to show it. You want to show the level of each of their abilities. You can click into them, although we could also look up the level details on LOTR.gg if we needed to. You can click in, linger there for a couple seconds so the person doing the transcription has enough time to capture the detail. The other very important thing is to show the character stats screen, which is under this kind of bar chart icon. And that's because sometimes we want to know the character's health, damage, armor values, and so on, and that is not available anywhere else in the game. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but don't go through it so fast that the person doing the transcribing doesn't have time. In the case of characters with leadership, you will need to scroll down a little bit because the default view cuts off the level of their passive abilities. You want to scroll down so we can see, in this example, Lady Eowyn has leader 3, and then basic 2, special 1 level 4, special 2 level 2, and passive level 2. And again, we want to show her character stats screen. We're going to do the same for Ugluk. Make sure it's scrolled down so we can see all his ability levels. Make sure we show his character stats screen. And same thing for Grimlurs. In this example, I don't even have some of his abilities. That's fine, as long as we know the ones we do have. So I'm going to go to Guild 3-3, which is one of the good nodes to test on. I'm going to battle it. I'm going to use only my favorite characters. Oops. I'm going to ignore the warning about adding to my squad. There will occasionally be times that you record with as few as 1 or 2 characters. So as soon as you gain control, you want to do a couple of things. Set the speed to 2x. 3x is a little too fast for comfortable transcription. 1x will have the sort of extreme zoom in on the special abilities, and that can actually cut off some of the damage numbers. The next thing you want to do, if you forgot to show the character stats first, or the character abilities, you can long press on each one. Notice at the top it tells you their level, tier, and power. So we could backwards derive some of their other information, but really important, it shows what their abilities do, and then we can go look up what level those were. So if you forgot, all is not lost. You can click through these. To show what they do. Now we're going to do the same thing on the enemies, and this is really important. We want to be absolutely sure that the enemies are not changing their abilities based on what characters are being used. We don't think they do, but this will help us be absolutely sure. Unfortunately, enemies do not show their level or gear tier or power, but at least we know what their abilities do. The other reason to do this is to get the names of the enemies. So here you can see we have two identically named Mordor slashers, and we have the Mordor Legionnaire in the middle. So now that we've got that, the next thing you want to do when testing a node is spam a bunch of basics against each enemy type, because that is going to let us establish the numerical baseline. Haha, basics baseline. So we'll just do some basics against these slashers. Yes, Ugluk is now weakened. We can compensate for that, but we'll get a bunch of different basics going here. You know, you want to spread it out so you try not to kill the enemies too fast before we get our basics established. Okay, so we've got our basics against the two slashers. I happen to know that these slashers have the exact same stats, so it's okay to spread out. The Legionnaire is a little bit annoying because he puts up protection, which will increase his armor value, and we don't know exactly how that works, but that's okay. We can still at least get some basics in on him, and then we'll know sort of, you know, what does this character's basic do against this enemy while he has protection up. So that can at least be useful. And notice how slow these enemies are, that I'm getting most of my team in before they are able to do anything. All right, so now the Legionnaire has taken a turn, the protection has fallen off, the exposed, that Eothane. Lady Eowyn is weakened. Again, we can compensate for that, but we'll go ahead and spam some more basics against him just to get our baseline. He's almost dead. This might kill him. It does. That's okay. All right, at this point in a testing, let's say we wanted to test how counters work that are granted by Eothane. Now that we've got our basic baselines established, we can start applying this thing and see what happens. Hopefully these guys don't die too quickly. So there's the counterattack from Ugluk, and there's the counterattack from Eothane. That could be useful data for us. You know, maybe at this point we are gonna try not to kill this last slasher, and hopefully he'll attack either Lady Eowyn or yeah, this is definitely going to kill him now. Maybe we've got a bunch of basics, you know, oh, let's see, you know, what happens with Dirty Work, which is the special 2. And notice that both damage numbers pop up, even though the first one likely killed that slasher. When we get to the next wave, we're going to do the same thing with enemies as soon as we gain control, which again, on this particular wave, should be before they get a turn. So there is another slasher, there was the motivator. So the motivator, hey, we haven't necessarily seen, you know, what our basics do against this guy. Try to get a few of those hits in. Down goes Grimlers, that's okay. All right, so we've got our baseline against the motivator. He's doing some buffing and not attacking us. The other thing we can do is we can look now at their turn meter and see, you know, excuse me, who's going to get a turn next. Try and not accidentally kill this guy before he gets his turn, in case we want to test some of his defenses. All right, so now we have to attack the Legionnaire because he's taunting. Whoops. He's taunting? Sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong one. All right, so anyway. And it might be useful to get basics against this guy because we don't officially know if he has the same, stats as someone else. Now he's exposed, which again is kind of annoying, but there's nothing we can do about it. All right, and then maybe we can start, trying, what happens if Lady Eowyn calls someone to attack this mortar, let's say, slasher. So there she goes, she calls Ugluk, he kills him, but we got the damage number to pop up. So that's an example of how we record a node. I'm going to go ahead and quit out of it. Once you are done with the recording, as soon as you save that file name, go ahead and put a date on it. The reason for this is we might need to know that date at some point as game patches come along. Maybe we're looking at an older recording as something has changed in the meantime. And then you're going to upload that to YouTube or Google Drive or somewhere else that you can share video files. Make sure you set it so that everyone on the internet can view. You don't necessarily have to allow people to edit it for obvious reasons, but we need to be able to view it. And that is how you can help with LOTR home research. Thank you very much. Once again, jrandall0308. Feel free to contact me on Discord. Bye.